I'm going to turn it over to our rookie legends. We're delighted to have them here and very anxious to hear what they have to say. Beautiful.
Legacy is warming up with Johan Kriek as they prepare for the next men's match out there.
Let me just say it's a real privilege for me to be here. I live in Naples, Florida. Well, I did live in Naples, Florida. I live now in Palm Beach Gardens. Wayne is down in Hilton Head. Wayne is also from South Africa. He was the younger generation. Obviously, he ate all his vegetables and everything. Look how big he is. I am standing, so don't make fun of short people. Dynamite comes in small packages, just remember that. This is my first time here. Not my first time on a tennis court, but you know, we're going to talk a little bit today about one of the most important shots that you have to master and that you have to use more. And it's a very interesting shot because there's a lot of technique involved depending on how fast and how much spin somebody uses. So we're talking today about the return of serve. A very, very important shot to master, and also how to use psychology within that shot to offset your opponent. Okay? If you are constantly standing there like a giraffe at a water hole, they're going to get used to that look and they're going to just get very comfortable serving harder and harder second serves. But if you are constantly looking eager and you know you're moving in and out like that son of a bitch, what was his name? John Fitzgerald from Australia. He used to drive me nuts. When I played him, he looked like I was up 5-1, 6-0, 4-1, and he still looks like he's going to kick my ass. It just pissed me off, and then I start double faulting. So that's something that you could use, and I see a lot of our juniors. I have an academy, so I try and teach not only the technical side of that shot, but how to use it psychologically. Okay, if I get to 4-all in the first set and it's 30-40, and my opponent has a second serve, I'm going to crowd his brain. I'm not going to look, hope I make it. I'm going to really work on his brain. I'm going to say, you know, bring it. You know, let's see if you have the balls to hit the second serve 2 inches from the service line. And then they double fault by 2 inches, and I just giggle. And so there's a lot of these things that are important. So we're going to talk a little bit about the return of serve if you play lefties, where to stand, and pretty much what to do when you have second serves. You know, I've watched Roger Federer play at Wimbledon against these tall guys a couple of times. Karlovic is one. He's played Karlovic probably 3 times that I saw him play at Wimbledon. And Roger is just unbelievable. We obviously know he's, you know, unbelievably talented guy. But you know, they asked him in the press conference, you know, what do you do when you play somebody like a Isner or a Karlovic and they serve so big and you don't seem to get any balls back? And he just said very calmly, he says, I just stick around. But then I thought, what does that mean? That means that he is just like he's like a leopard in a tree. You know, he's waiting for the biggest, fattest hog to walk by under the tree. He doesn't know he's up there. You know, and as soon as that tiebreaker happens, Karlovic misses his first serve at 3-4. Roger chips low on his feet, and the ball pops up and he passes him. Thank you for coming, 7-6. And you know, tennis is not always about playing the greatest tennis from start to finish. It's about taking the mega points. Let's talk about that for a second. And that plays very much into the return of serve, okay? How many of you know the fact that you have to probably serve more and return more from which side of the court? Deuce or the outside? Deuce. Wrong! Damn it! Nobody can do math anymore. It's all in here. First of all, let's take a look at the court. How many points can you win on the deuce side to win the game? 40-15, 15-40.
Does it depend if you're lefty or righty?
You know, I hate lefties. They suck. They beat me so many times. On the outside, you got love 40, 40 love, 30, 40, 30, 40, 30. Add in, add out. 1 point. So which side do you need to practice on more? Outside is more important because there's more chance to win. So, you know, I see people just hammering away to do so. Doofus. So we want to make sure we understand the court. We got to understand the psychology. What is happening here, right? So I teach my kids to practice a lot on returns, a lot on serves on the ad court, because there's more chances to hold on that side. Does it make sense? A lot more honey over here. All right. So Wayne, you haven't spoken too much today. Wayne?
I'm just a guinea pig. I'm just here to do what he tells me, man. Wherever he tells me to go, I go.
So if you guys want to just come a little closer, we're going to talk about the stances and so forth. So come over to the net here. You guys come over to the net. You guys can sit there. We're going to talk about the return of serve. Now, you've seen Nadal and these guys return of serve. We're going to talk mostly about doubles. But if somebody is serving very, very big against you, you obviously have to buy time. You want to get a little bit more of a half a quarter second. Maybe the guys are standing way back here, and then they move up on the second serve. But on the ad side, for instance, if I play right-hander, I'm pretty much going to put my left foot right on line with this so that I have enough space that I think I can figure out where he's going to go. But if I play a lefty, now think about the lefty. McEnroe, son of a bitch. I'm about here because I give him that little sliver of 3 inches in that corner, but as I move forward, I'm probably going to kind of have a feel, because as you play these guys more and more, you're going to start feeling them, you're going to start seeing what they do, you're going to feel patterns developing, because, you know, McEnroe, even if he's 30-40 down or 40-30 up, he's probably going to serve wide and short. So 80% that's the serve, so I act like I'm covering, but I know it's going to go there. Now, this past US Open, I was watching Zverev play against Djokovic the Sunday before the tournament started. So I was sitting right at the grandstand, beautiful court, and I'm watching these guys return serve. Here's Djokovic. Take a look. On the first serve, Djokovic is here, you know, and you've seen him, he opens his eyes really big. You think he's doing that because he's a tick? No. He's, exactly, he's making his eyes go open, and then he sees clearer. I've tried that and I'm like, shit, that kind of works. It's not like he saw a ghost. He's actually trained to do that. He's looked at everything. How can I make my eye? Let's focus. The eye is the fastest thing, right? It's got to go to the brain. Here comes the ball. It's a wide one. It's a fast one, whatever. So your reading skills have to be really good. But anyway, not to drift away. But here's Djokovic. He does his big eye thing. And as soon as the first serve comes, he hops with both legs at the same time to launch. But on the second serve, he does this. Do you think that's just a sort of a weird thing? He's trying to do that. On the second serve, he feels better sliding his left foot forward, and I do the same thing. But what was really interesting, because the guys are serving 130, 135 plus, when he lands on both feet, he feels like he can push off where his brain thinks the ball is going to go. But if he goes with one foot, he's unstable. But he can do that, and he feels more comfortable doing it on the second serve. Does it every time. So Wayne, anything else you want to add to the return of serve? Number one. Come on, Wayne, I want you in here, man. I do
agree sometimes, but it is very important for me on the return of serve, especially in doubles, especially if you're playing somebody who's got a lot of kicks on the serve. It's the most important is to try to take the ball on the rise, never let the ball get away from you. Taking the steps are very important, even take 2 steps, but it's really important to make sure that you smother the ball, especially if someone who has a kick. I don't know how many guys have a big kick, but if you don't get on top of the kick on the serve, you have a lot of problems. I always take the second serve at least on the inside the baseline or a foot inside the baseline. Not different from the first serve, which I take a few feet from behind. That's the one thing that I try to focus on, especially on the kick.
Now the thing is, it's a modified swing, okay? If you watch Djokovic, when he hits forehands, he's pretty much in this kind of a grip, but he doesn't return like this. Whereas Nadal does this. It's funny, everybody's different. But Djokovic has basically an Eastern forehand, and he holds it, and he knows this guy serves so hard. When he goes to a forehand, he can manipulate his wrist and just get the ball back, and then he goes to his other grip when he plays ground stroke. So that's another thing, he's trained it. So on the backhand, he doesn't change grips. He just blocks it back really hard, and then he can go to another grip for the normal rally stuff. So it's all about efficiency for him. With this sort of, you know, you see him, and then he goes boom, flat, and he goes boom, flat. So then when he rallies, he changes grips quite often. So Again, I mean, super detailed, super thought out. No wonder the guy is so unbelievable right now. But in terms of a fast server, you really want to just, there's a timing thing. So people sometimes call very tall pass, and you go too fast, you stop dead again. You might as well just shoot back here. So there's a bit of a dance between you and your returning method and the guy tossing the ball and how hard they hit it. So you want to kind of split step the moment they hit. So if you're going to go and he hits it, oh, there it is. Okay. So just try and do that. Don't try and go too fast. I see a lot of people, they go like this. And now they're here. Wrong move. Don't ever go back. At the very least, stay in the same place. You could probably get the ball back. Very fast serves. Don't go for a ground stroke. You're going to be late. Boom, out. And so just use your body weight to compensate for the backswing speed to create more lean into the ball. So you're going to make very short swings to get the ball back. In doubles, stay as low as you can. Sometimes it's great to hit right at the guy if the guy's crowding the net. You know, guy's standing really close to the net. Second serves, bang, right at him. People don't like to volley like this. So try that. Especially when you're not having success. I'm ripping cross courts. Other guy's lucky it's net courts. Picks balls off his feet, then change directions. So we were talking this morning about lobs. Not too many people in the pros do very many lobs anymore.
I got to add on that too though. My philosophy when I play is exactly what Johan's talking about, a abbreviated swing. So I have a very big forehand. I don't know if you've watched, but I have a very big swing on my forehand. My return of serve was compact just to here and here. So when my philosophy was on a first serve, if a person had a really, really big serve, I would stand about that foot behind and I would just block it. In regards to the second serve, I always wanted to have the philosophy that my return of serve was almost like I was approaching to the net on a short ball. So I'd always have the idea to keep moving forward. So I tried to, on the second serve, keep an abbreviated return of serve, which meant that I wanted to make it like I was pushed with the return of serve coming at me. I didn't want to have a lot of time. That's why I was able to take 2 or 3 or 4 steps inside it, because I wanted it to be like an approach shot towards the net. So people who return well can have that philosophy of trying to get further into the court, because obviously you understand that the earlier you take the ball, the less time you give your opponent. So that was always my philosophy. I never wanted to have a lot of time for a full swing. So I always tried to, depending on the person I was playing against and how good their serve was, would dictate where I made contact to the ball. Bigger servers further back, softer servers inside the baseline. So that worked for me.
Another position for if Wayne and I are playing. Okay, Wayne, so you're helping me return. So where Wayne is going to stand is pretty much facing that guy. His job is to defend a ball that maybe comes from the guy at the net in case I hit it to him. So we've got to make sure that when we are doing this, that the first serve, say Wayne is returning, I'm going to be facing this guy. I see a lot of people standing here. Okay, it's way too much space. You give the whole court away. So I would be pretty much here. I'm watching the guy serve, but I'm not calling lines and waiting like this. Now I'm cutting off my peripheral vision to the guy at the net. This guy crosses. Even if Wayne hits a really good shot, this guy's a very smart guy. He crosses. By the time he hit the ball and I'm like this, I'm still standing here like I'm not ready. Boom, it hits anywhere. But I'm going to watch that ball travel until I see what is this guy doing. If this guy doesn't move, okay, now I'm back in the game. Now I'm moving. Second serve return, probably about here. Okay, still watching, still very much. We're not here. Because now you got to turn more to kind of cover. So you're going to be at this angle. It's very important little tidbit, okay? Don't stand straight. It's beautiful. Face that guy all the time. And move accordingly, okay? Psychology of the score. Guy's up 40 love. What do you have to lose? You hit beautiful returns. That guy knocked him off. This guy's poaching. You know, sometimes you just take the bull by the horn and hit as hard as you can up the line on the backhand and just drill the ball and see what happens. Scare this guy a bit. You know, don't play the same thing, the same rhythm over and over. It's like a dead horse. You're beating it. Ain't gonna move. Try something different. Maybe lob. Second serve, you know, chip and charge. Maybe come in. Cross court angle. You know, stuff like that. Try and do something different. Okay.
How about follow through on those
returns? because you have such an abbreviated, like you said, an abbreviated shot, you don't really follow through like this. You know, because you're hitting and you're stopping. You're hitting and you basically stop. You don't follow through like a ground stroke because you want to be ready, especially in doubles. Okay. If you watch the guys on TV, they don't return like this and go. How beautiful is that? Anybody photograph? No, they finish. Boom, right in front.
What about left-handers? What side should they play on in doubles?
Well,
Is there an answer to that?
I think the most important thing with doubles is whoever has a very good inside-out backhand, which is probably the hardest shot on the return to serve. Obviously, a right-hander in the juice court, left-hander on the ad court. It really, for me, doubles always depended on who had the best inside-out backhand. It seemed to be the harder one. So I think you judge it on which is your strength on the side that you return from. I think a lot of it depends on that. So if you have a good inside-out backhand and you're a lefty, then you would play on the ad side. If your inside-out backhand is not very good, then you should play on the juice side. I think that, for me, is very dependent on doubles.
any other?
Hard court versus soft court?
Similar stance. It's not much different. You know, obviously you slide a little bit more. I would say the short angle return of any side is probably the wiser shot and play, because guys are going to come in and slide and they're a little bit off, a little bit off balance perhaps. But you don't really change your stances in play versus hard. Anything else?
What about Englinger? Jumping land to split step. Where do you want to be when you land first of all? Is it hit the court yet? Is it hit the screen yet?
Generally you split just well, it depends on the pace of your opponent's serve, but generally you split when they're about to make contact.
Yeah, when their racket is about here,
You go
you
up
split
when
that.
they're about
So you basically want to, as you split, is about when they make contact to the ball.
Right.
What about angling your body? Like you're not returning as the guy from net, you're returning from someone wide.
Right.
So do you face him at a net or do you face him?
Well, I would say a slight bit of an angle, depending if it's a lefty. I have a big angle, right? Okay, you're gonna square up to them. You don't want to be off square when you don't want to be off kilter a little bit. But pretty much I was like this for lefties or righties. I just didn't want to give the lefty.
Split setting towards them or split setting this way?
Depending on the ball. I mean, of course, if the ball is going, if I'm going first serve here, then I'm hopping here to kind of offset that 90-degree angle. So you always want to kind of be at the 90-degree contact point as the ball comes in. Okay?
All right, good job, guys. Well done. Thank you very much.
I'm completely confused. We're sorry.
Okay, now that we got you all nice and close, we're going to get Mr. Larry Starr out here, spread out. We're going to get you warmed up, and then we're going to go and have a practice session. Good job. Thank you, buddy. Johan, excellent.